So let's move on to the second half and address immediate concerns here. And immediate concerns, I say, is we need Lance Lynn and Michael Kopech to right the ship. And we also have injury question marks surrounding Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, and Aaron Bummer. Let's talk about these topics first. And I know we didn't do a show after Saturday, so maybe Lance Lynn is a good topic to start on here. And it's going to pain my heart, but we need to discuss it because Lance ain't right now.
Lance ain't right now is the perfect way to put it, Johnny. This is a guy who has, I hate to say this, really underperformed since signing an extension with the Chicago White Sox. There's some stats that have floated around Steve's favorite and most visited website on the internets, and it's somewhat concerning, especially after all of the investigative research that OnTap Sportsnet has poured into trying to figure out why the White Sox traded Dane Dunning for Lance Lynn. It pains me to say this. I don't want this storyline to continue because I'm a big Lance Lynn fan. I think he provides what the White Sox need in terms of veteran leadership that Dallas Keuchel really just blatantly fucking lacked in the White Sox clubhouse. He's got so much pedigree behind him. He's a guy that just he exudes the fuck you attitude that this team needs to win ball games. What bothers me about Lance Lynn and watching Lance Lynn pitch of recently is that 92-mile-an-hour fastballs over the middle of the plate normally get fucking murdered. And I've seen far too many of them. I don't know if it's a lack of command. I don't know if it's a lack of luck. I don't know what it is. But something isn't right with him, and there's been some injury concerns around it. Obviously, he missed the whole first half of this season, basically, before returning to the rotation. So I don't know if that's kind of really been the main problem with Lance Lynn. But this isn't what we wanted to see from him at all. There's so much like that rides on Lance Lynn starts, and we all know this as Sox fans because Jerry's mantra has been forever and always, I'm not going to spend big money on pitching. And to give him a 3-year extension, I don't think was a small thing for Rick Hahn and company to have to go sell to Jerry Reinsdorf. But it just seems like they're almost snake bitten when it comes to stuff like this. There's got to be a guy out there that's going to eventually be the guy that the White Sox pay to pitch baseballs. Lance Lynn had a real chance to do that, and up until right now, it's been very fucking bad, guys. It's been very painful to see this develop. I think there's still time to right the ship, but I don't know if he's fully healthy. I don't know if he's the guy that's going to cruise down it for the rest of this season with the Chicago White Sox. I've kind of questioned this myself. Is there a need to go out and acquire another starting pitcher for this White Sox team to have a successful second half of 2022? And the biggest question mark that I have in the rotation right now, outside of Michael Kopech, is Lance Lynn, because I don't feel as confident as a White Sox fan riding into Lance Lynn Day as I should right now. You can go point fingers back to not making a qualifying offer to Carlos Rodon that would have probably solved this problem. However, this is where we're at. As White Sox fans, you need a big second half from Lance Lynn, or you need to do something to shore this up. It's kind of disheartening to say, but I'm just right now, I'm not as confident going into Lance Lynn Day as I am with any other pitcher in this rotation, and I didn't think I would be here right now.
So to piggyback off of that, if we look at things from a 10,000-foot view, in his first 16 starts with the Sox, Lance Lynn in 90.2 innings pitched had a 1.99 ERA and was averaging about 5 2/3 innings pitched. In the 19 starts since he signed his extension, he's thrown 100 1/3 innings pitched, about 5 1/3 per start, to a 5.11 ERA. So the thing that is also very concerning here in particular this season, since he came off of the IL, has been the home run ball. He gave up 3 of them yesterday against Minnesota. That has really been the Achilles heel for him in this 2022 season. Anthony, you talk about the decline in the velocity. Everybody, I don't know if everybody remembers this, but he had a knee issue going back to last year. And so that was right around the time that the extension actually took place. So we're about a year of the knee kind of being a little barky for Lance, and then obviously having to go and have it surgically repaired in March during spring training. Very problematic for him here. So as a veteran pitcher that's 35, 36 years old, it is a little bit concerning. And then you see the decline in velocity here. It's something that you absolutely have to keep an eye on. A lot of people are saying that really this is kind of his spring training still in a lot of ways. I think we need to get past that at this point. To Lance's credit, unlike Dickhead Dallas, he holds himself personally accountable. He doesn't go out there and he doesn't make excuses. He doesn't try to put it on his teammates.
He quite literally says it's horseshit and unacceptable.
Yes.
Hey,
exactly.
and I will say it's very fucking cool and tough to hold yourself accountable here. This is a guy that's very easy to root for White Sox fans. And I think that there's some admiration that needs to be said in that. But Steve, I'll turn it back to you.
You're spot on there in that assessment. And that is why we're all big advocates of Lance Lynn on this show, because he does hold himself accountable, because he doesn't go and try to pass the buck onto somebody else like another bearded fuck who is no longer with this team that everybody knows I've got some strong thoughts on. At the end of the day, Lance needs to go out there, and him and Ethan Katz need to get together here over the break, figure out what the issue is. I'm starting to wonder if it is a pitch mix issue here, because he is so fastball reliant. Now, obviously, there are variations to that fastball. Being 92, 93 with those fastballs, maybe that is part of the issue here. And perhaps it is time that they need to start incorporating in a curveball or a slider or some other type of breaking pitch with more regularity here to keep the hitters honest and to kind of tilt the scouting reports a little bit, because everybody knows you go up against Lance Lynn, you're going to see about 80% fastballs in some variety here. It might be time that now with this decline in velocity, and listen.
Hey, Steve, I've got a random question to pop in here.
Yeah.
If you're Ethan Katz, is part of your strategy maybe to go in and tell Lance Lynn, hey, you're hitting 92, 93. Let's drop that to 87, 89 and maybe fool some people here.
I think that's something that you might have to look at a la Johnny Cueto. I talk a lot about some of the younger guys on this staff needing to watch and really observe Johnny Cueto, Dylan Cease, Michael Kopech, Lucas Giolito. They need to learn from him, because this is a veteran guy who doesn't have the premium stuff anymore. Lance Lynn probably falls into that same boat. And you would think that those are two guys that have been through just about everything that you can go through in this game at the major league level here. So there's got to be some sort of adjustment made here going into the second half, because they need Lance Lynn to be a reliable pitcher. They can't afford to have him going out there giving up 6 earned runs in 5 innings and surrendering 3 home runs on a consistent basis, because we've seen that far too often this year. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Lance Lynn is totally done here, but something has to change, and something's going to change here quickly.
Right. And I think a break can do him some well in terms of getting the leg back under him, because when I look at him, this is just me. I'm no expert. I'm not there talking to him after he has these innings like an Ethan Katz is. However, when I watch, when he lands, it was his front leg, right, that had this issue, I believe. When he goes and he lands, he's not pushing through his pitches as much as he would like. And I know some of that's generated from the back half too. But if you don't feel strong coming through that front leg, then it's not going to generate the same spin that you want. And in turn, he's going to have less movement. He relies on that cutter to have some movement when he has the variations of the fastball. It's never just something that's straight. And guess what? When he throws them just straight, they get hit out of the ballpark. So that's something that I would look for him to, and maybe that's a tweak. If the knee's not going to let him do that, then maybe it's something with the arm. Maybe it's something with the grip, like you had mentioned, Steve. Maybe it's mixing in a different, like you said, a slider or a curveball or something like that. That could be the fix there. But that's what I look at when I look at Lance Lynn's issues right now, and it's not all there. But I do think some time off here could do him some good. We'll see how that happens. And then I agree with you, Steve. We can move past the spring training start of it, but at the same time, when you just look at the timelines of all these guys, where they start, right, their season at, it is still kind of in a ramp up period of sorts when you're talking about that. And then going beyond the diamond into his head, he's got the fucking wherewithal to know that, like you said, he holds himself accountable, says it's horseshit. I can't have this. So if there's anybody that can will himself to do it, even if he's not feeling all the way there physically, I believe in Lance Lynn. That's
so you're saying you believe Lance Lynn has TW.
And he has guts and nuts, which he very much reminds everybody of after he has a big strikeout.